So we have our character, also known as the second half, holding a rocket launcher using a child of constraint. The rocket launcher is also holding its warhead with another child of constraint. Our goal is to smoothly drop the launcher, pick up the warhead, insert a new one, drop it, and finally grab the launcher again. Let's do it. First, we'll release the launcher. One frame before releasing it, keyframe both the influence of the child of constraint and the launcher's transform. This is all done in object mode. If on the next frame we set the influence to 0, the launcher would snap back to the position it had before the child of constraint was added. We obviously don't want that. Instead, select the launcher rig, still in object mode, and go to Object, Apply, Visual Transform. So it looks broken now, but if you set the influence to 0, the launcher goes exactly where we need it to be. Now simply keyframe the transform and the influence, and the launcher is no longer parented to the head. Next, we'll grab it with the left hand. Add another child of constraint. Set the influence to 0 in the previous frame, 1 on the next frame. Add the target, which would be the left hand. Click Set Inverse, and now the launcher transfers smoothly from one hand to the other. So far so good. Let's grab the warhead. The process is exactly the same. One frame before grabbing it, keyframe the warhead's transform and the current constraint's influence. On the next frame, apply visual transform and keyframe the influence and transform. Then add a new child of constraint for the new parent, which will be the hand. Animate the influence, click Set Inverse, and that was the easy part. Now it's time to release the warhead and attach it back to the launcher. Again, keyframe the transform and influence one frame before the switch. Apply visual transform. Even if it looks unnecessary, it's a good habit because it prevents small position shifts. In this case, you can actually see a slight movement without it. Now we reconnect the launcher to the warhead. You might think you can simply reuse the original child of constraint, but there's an important detail. Each child of constraint stores its own attachment offset when you press Set Inverse. If you reuse an existing constraint, Blender keeps using that original offset, which often causes the object to snap into the wrong position. Creating a new child of constraint lets Blender calculate a fresh offset for the new attachment. Of course, you can always reuse the original constraint by just pressing Set Inverse again, but I personally prefer stacking multiple child of constraints. That way, each constraint permanently stores the correct offset for a specific interaction, making the animation easier to manage later. Finally, we transfer the launcher back to the right hand. It's the same workflow. Keyframe the transform and influence one frame before the switch, apply visual transform, keyframe the new transform and influence, add one final child of constraint, set influences, target, Set Inverse, and we're done. Now our character fires the rocket and reloads it smoothly. This tutorial builds on Brian Cohy's explanation by showing how to switch between multiple child of constraints while avoiding snapping. The main things to remember are keyframe before switching, apply visual transform, and use a new child of constraint when you need a fresh attachment offset. If you run into any issues following this tutorial, leave a comment below. I'll do my best to help troubleshoot what might be causing the issue.